with constraints. In this problem, we are going to solve the problem is all about incrementing the value by 1, decrementing the value by 1, and resetting the value by 1. But here there are some catch point in decrementing. The value shouldn't go to below 0. To solve the problem, I will use three functionality: incrementing the value by 1, decrementing the value by 1, and resetting the value by 1. I will use condition in the decrement function. For to make this, I will use React and useState. With the help of them, I will make this problem statement solution. So let's move on to the solution of this problem. Now I will move to the code of this problem statement. Let's move. First of all, I will import React and useState. So React will help us to display and the useState will help us to store the value. After we write the import of React, useState and React, now move to our main function of this component, function app. It is our main function, so we will write it, the code, actual code inside it. In here, I will display two values, count or set count, two value variable. You can see. So so count will store the value to 0 and set count will update the value. So now move to the variables. After we declare count, set count, we will make their functions. So we will implement increment, decrement, and reset. So let's first create the increment of this problem statement. I have created function increment. Inside it, I will update the value count plus 1. So it will increase the value. Now let's move to the second function here, decrement function. I will apply condition here also. So let's move to the function of this decrement. So for this, we will apply condition if count is greater than 0, then it should be decremented. Now let's move to the third functionality, the reset functionality to update the value to the 0. In here, I will what I will do here is set count and update inside it. I will put zero. So the value when a reset function is called, it will become zero. Now I will write return. Why we use return here? Uh, Inside return, we can use any text to display our output. Here I am taking H1 tag inside here. I'm using curly bracket. Inside it, I will use the initial value count. So here the count is zero and it is the initial value. So inside curly bracket I use so I can get the initial value of count. So we will create three buttons to increment, decrement, and reset. So first of all, I will create button for increment. So before going to the button, here is a catch. So React uses fragments or div tag inside it. We can display our output so we don't get any error. We can use fragments also. It is a very useful for us. Inside button, I will use a functionality on click. What it will do is when we click on button, so it will call the function and it will implement in count. So it will update it. So in on click, I will use increment. After that, I will create a button for decrement section. After declaring decrement here, we will move to the reset function of this project. Inside button, I will use third time again on click functionality. So whenever it will click, the initial value will update it. Inside on click, remember you should have to use the function of what you want to update. So we have successfully created all the necessary things, importing the React and use state for storing and React, so we can show our output is created a main component function app, so we can write inside it all the codes. Inside it, I have used use state, count variable and set count variable for initial or set count to update. After that, I have created increment for updating the value +1, decrementing the value by -1, and resetting the value by 0. After that, that return inside it, I will write the output. So the function I have made, so I can show in my browser. Here I've used h1 tag. Inside it, I've used initial value. So initial value is shown here. Three buttons for increment, decrement, and reset. So it will show the output. Now let's move to the output. So getting the output, let's run the command npm rundev. First of all, I will go to the actual project, click counter, and then run npm run dev. So let's move. Is our code working or not? Let's move and see what's the problem here. So we haven't exported here. So let's export it. So after the export, the actual implemented output will show. Here we have exported our function. Now let's see is it working or not. So as you can see, our code is fully functional working. Now let's check our functionalities. Are they working or not? Let's first click on the increment. Here you can see the function of the increment is currently working and the initial value is updating. Now let's move to the decreasing. So the value is decreasing, but the value isn't going below the zero. So our decrement function is also successful. Let's increment the value. Now let me check our reset button is working or not. So let's check it. Here you can see our actual code is fully working now. So thank you for watching me for GitHub for GitHub link and LinkedIn link and the actual code you want you can get inside in my description.